Hi folks, Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild on another lovely Friday night. Before we get into the stuff, let's talk about what keeps the lights on and the game rolling. Folks, the Historical Fencing Guild is, of course, brought to you by The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert. That's me. These are the easiest, fastest ways to learn how to sword fight. We're also made possible by Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game. This is the quick play edition, which is attached to Luke Stone's current Indiegogo campaign. I am the designer of the game for Luke Stone's World. Hopefully, coming Christmas, we'll have the full version coming out. Stay tuned for that. And, of course, the Big Stompy Robots line of games and books. So, folks, if you like blowing things up and having a good time, look into the Big Stompy Robots. Maybe I'll do a whole thing on that. Well, deep subject. Yeah, kind of cold, too. What a week, folks. I have been busy. Now, Patreon members know exactly what's going on and why I'm just starting to feel that hype train come chugging into the station. But what they know, you get to find out right now. We got some good news. First off, the second pirate sword has come in. Now, that's the Wuja 30-inch pirate sword, polypropylene. Great little trainer. Why is it important I have two of them? Well, there are three good reasons for that. Reason one, I'm going to be modifying the grip to fit my tiny little hobbit hands and be easier to grip. Reason two, I will be using them in training videos with other people so that the length is the same. And reason three, your lovely swordmaster will be doing a demonstration for the children over at the Benton County Public Library in Fowler, Indiana, later this summer. So I may even go in full pirate regalia if I can talk to my wife / seamstress about making some chunky-sized garb for just that event. It would be absolutely divine to be able to do that. So I am hyped about getting out and doing demos again. It's been a long time since I've been able to do enough to be able to be like, here, let me show you some things about how things operate. In the interim, I'll probably be training my co-host of that show, so life is looking good on that. While there are so many great comments, but I want to get through my spiel, and then I'm going to deep dive the comments, because the comments are where we live on the show. But other great news. May 28th, I will be holding my first historical fencing guild practice in a very long time. So I've reached out to my local members. A few of the Patreon types are also local. So there may even be a meet and greet. We'll have to see who can come up where. This is delightful news because that means we're doing what we love. So that means I have a day less than a month to get the facilities up and running. I'm a little nervous about this. It's a lot to ask of myself and my family and the people I'll be reaching out for a little assistance. Look at that, asking for help. But I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with no issue from my medical care provider. Yes, folks, a quantitated bill of health, if you think you can do it and you're careful, awesome. So, yeah, folks, we're talking about making the impossible possible right here, right now, through the Historical Fencing Guild. I'm going to go drop it to the comments, see who's hopping, because you guys know, I have the best comments in the game. It's just an amazing group of people in my comment. So first through the door was Foxy. Evening. Hi, Foxy. I may not quite be as chatty as normal. I broke myself a wee bit. honey, you have to get yourself feeling better. We need you to feel good and get in shape so that we can help train you up into the one-woman weapon of destruction that you really are. Cindy Kep says, ow, don't do it that way. And of course, this guy right here said, oh no, I hope you're okay. Good evening, Thesis. Bladed Thesis, everybody. Evening, Sword family. You know we love you. And Cindy kept saying howdy. So howdy to Thesis, howdy us, howdy to you good folks at home. And then for why? Well, we'll see. We'll talk about what's going. I don't know if I missed that one or not. We'll see, but let's keep going. If today wasn't so dang cold and windy, I would have done a little outdoor training today. I do my evening training before I go to bed. Actually, usually right before I go to bed, I do the vast majority of my drills. If it's a good day, I play and stuff. But you can do your drills with anything or with nothing in your hand. Okay, you can do sword drills with a stick. And Cindy keeps the closed fan because she's allowed to use that. And never never be afraid, folks, to be just a little legalistic when they say you can't use a weapon, but you can train with that fan. That means you can walk through your guards and blocks with the fan just like anything else. Oh, I'm not saying I'm a Mandalorian, but anyway, no, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's see. Foxy says we saw a shirt that made us think of you last weekend. Oh, how delightful. What did you see? Hawaiian style with like bass fish on it. I'm all for that. I like fishing. I like Hawaiian stuff. Dang it, I can't post a picture comment. I honestly don't know how I would do that. But just send the link up on the Facebook public group for the Historical Fencing Guild. All sorts of zany things show up there. Oh, okay. You were numbering stuff and stopped on 3. I saw it went on 4. Okay. Oh, I thought I missed something. I have a picture on my computer of Polly Shore saying you can do it. You can do eat. Yes. Alrighty, so I'm all right. Just breathed wrong, started coughing, then started sneeze, which didn't come out. More coughing. So pulled a booby muscle and a couple pop trips. Oh, gosh. That's not good. You have to be more careful with yourself. You know, ribs, as somebody who's had their ribs do shady things, that physically hurt. Ow. Foxy says I'm not allowed to practice before bed because it hypes me up and then I can't sleep and I'm all twitchy. That's a valid point. Thesis. The reason I practice right before bed is one, Xander and Manda are in bed, so I have a little more free space, and I carry a lot of stress on me, so I do my drills and my slow work and stuff before bed, because for me, the method I use is very Tai Chi like in that it's slow, controlled, repetitive movement that puts the weapons and me in a sync so I can get a flow and really feel how I'm doing. But I can understand a different kind of practice would not be suitable. But for me, it's a meditative thing. Excuse me. Whoops. Okay, here we go. Cindy Kep says you could lose ideas in the wind out there this week. It's finally warm enough to practice outside, but it was had a hard enough time holding on to the fan when it's not straight line tornado speed winds. Cindy, I live in the windiest part of the nation, according to some. They have those whirly birds all over me for good reason. So yeah, absolutely. The wind can be a major factor. And actually, since we've moved down here, from Northwest Indiana. We moved farther in the state. The wind has done more to interfere with my practices than anything else. Because up north, as the videos, if you go back, we'd have practices and we'd be bundled up and it'd be 20 degrees, 20 below. Didn't matter. But when you start having, 40 mile an hour straight sustained winds and it's 20 below, you're looking at 60 below wind chill. That'll just kill you. I mean, that's ugly, ugly, dangerous cold. So, we're working around the new system. Perhaps I'll be able to secure an indoor facility site option. Oh, sorry, guys. Once things stabilized, who knows? And Foxy says, yeah, connective tissue disease can be a lot of fun. I am so sorry to hear that. Thesis says, I tend to do Qigong first thing in the morning to wake my body up, and that's a great practice. I used to do sets of exercises and calisthenics in the morning, but I have to take a set of medications pretty much first thing where I wake up, and I have to eat almost as soon as I take them because of diabetic, joys. So it's my like the first hour when I wake up is very much dealing with that. So I do understand that. Cindy Kep says, I cannot do practice after 8 p.m. or I'm even more wired for sound and sleep does not happen. And I understand that. Morning practice is a beautiful revitalizing thing. Evening practice is different, and I don't operate like a lot of people. So I understand. That's the joy of not being neurotypical means I'm not neurotypical. So you have to figure out what training regimens and what systems and what styles work for you guys. That's what we're all about here. Building each other up and building each other up individually instead of a homogenous group who stand in rows and bathrobes and yell at each other. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. It was funny, Busha. I get that, Cindy. If I work out later, I can't sleep. Sadly, not the first time, and it won't be the last. But silver lining, it shows how strong my muscles are. That is that great question. If you hit yourself and it hurts, are you strong or weak? And speaking of Qigong, tomorrow is World Tai Chi Qigong Day. There's a link to practice with a Wudong master on the mountain. I will share it in the Facebook group if I can find it again. That would be delightful. I don't know if I'll be able to participate because of some other things. My weekend is looking very busy. But this is a good. I'm glad nighttime practices work for you. It's important to understand that if I were left to my own devices, I would be on midnights. Oh, sorry. As you can see, or later, I got a lot done, and I'm really feeling the today. But and I only have water. I don't have my squirt juice of like vitamin B goodness, so I'm extra drowsy. As I leak water all over myself, so it's probably better. Anyway, I would stay up till about 4 in the morning about 4 and 5, and then get up at 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And that would be my natural sleep rhythm. It works really well for me when I'm allowed to, but as a parent and as a spouse of somebody who works, it doesn't work that well. Next Saturday is the first Renaissance Fair in Foxy and I's little mountain town. Well, that's wonderful. Those are great. I've had great times at Ren Fairs. And even as an ex-Scadian, I've had a wonderful time. There used to be, and I don't know if it still goes on, there used to be one right near my birthday at the end of August in South Bend, Indiana. Little, relatively small run fair. Always a blast to attend. I mean, every year I have had a wonderful time doing it. So yeah, little Ren fairs. Don't discount little Ren fairs, little game or comic conventions. Certainly, any author or book conventions you could find. Always, especially if they're local, try to go to those things. Find out when they are and attend them. I am a huge personal proponent for the joy of small festivals. Earl Park, Indiana has a delightful blues fest. I'm sorry, bluegrass music fest, and great music and just vendors all over the place and all that fair and carnival food. It is absolutely insane, and it's delightful. Are you a night owl or an early bird? Neither. I'm a permanently exhausted pigeon, says Foxy. I am slowly transitioning to being more of a morning person because of the different medicines. And I'm sorry, guys. I had to visit my doctor today, and I got my new glasses, and I did a lot of running around and took care of the family after some rough nights. So it is catching up to me tonight. So I'm really kind of feeling a little blinky eyed. The other thing is, and this happens to me every time, there's a storm probably in the middle of Illinois right now that's pushing our way. So the pressure is doing really weird things. And that makes me drowsy. It's not that I'm low energy. It's just like I get to yawning. It's strange. Okay. During the summer, when I was teaching, I had to be careful not to let my schedule rotate in summer. I would naturally stay up until 5 a.m., then crash and get up at 11 a.m. Doesn't work with jobs. And isn't that terrible? I really think if, especially if you're running your own business, you should be able to keep those hours. Those are the hours I keep. And I've done some wonderful work working those hours because it felt very natural to me. There's no fee for booths, so I considered setting up with Foxy's Wire and my journals, but imposter syndrome. It's not too late. Call them, set it up, set up your booth, bring out your stuff. The people who don't like your stuff won't care. The people who do will be interested, and you'll probably make a couple bucks. Plus, if you're really interested in the festival, having a booth at a festival is wonderful because you have a permanent base of operations. If you could get especially somebody to help you out, so you and Foxy can tag out, this is great. I worked for years an incredible gaming convention called ArcticCon in the Maryville, Indiana area. It was ran by my dear, dear friend Benjamin Starkey, may he rest in peace, and his wife Heather, and a delightful group of lunatics called the Edelong Syndicate, of which I used to be one. And I would have my friends Trelena Bachman and Joe Bachman. We would split the booth fees, and then we could, watch each other's half of the booths, because I would get 2 or 3 tables, and we'd fill it up with books, me doing art commissions, BSR related stuff. They'd bring wood burning and wood burnt stuff and like crochet stuff like Cindy Kep does. And we'd tag out and folks could go wander and get food and play games. A lot of times the money you would make, a good portion of it would go to other vendors. And so you'd walk away with a bit of cash and some cool stuff and great stories. Please, if there is time to let yourself do this, do it. Have a good time with it, because that's a real opportunity. Cindy Kep says, dude, go, dude, shoot. If there's no fee, do it. Johnny says, pal, if you got to rest, no shame. No, I'm just a little drowsy, that's all. And like I said, my ears are popping. It's the weather coming in. I'm not going to sleep, but thank you for the awesome support. Johnny. Now, mind you, Johnny's has a specialty in rising from your rest as everyone's favorite vampire. But we love you, Johnny. I hope they're treating you well over at Red Valkyrie Presents. They better. I just might show back up and heckle them from the things and, I don't know, have Gizmo hack his way in. My issue is lack of supply right now. Well, what you can do is set up what you have and run off some business cards or print them off on index card, card stock, and cut it out yourself and say, these are what I make. I take commissions. Here's a site or an email, and go with it. Do not worry about it, but give it a try. Because, oh no, what happens if you sell out? Oh no. It is far better to go and not have enough and be able to try. Because, okay, what happens if you don't sell anything? You're not out anything. It doesn't cost you. And it gives you a great place, prime real estate in Ren Fair. Absolutely. If you were not, a couple thousand miles away, I'd be bugging you. That's a great opportunity. Sup, Johnny? Yeah, that's right. Nothing wrong with a nap attack if you can have them. Naps are beautiful. I just have to remember that I'm a member of the Scuba Sleeping Squad, so I have to wear my thing. Sup, Thesis? I am clearly chilling with my nomies again. Unfortunately, it would be just the two of us. Just the two of us. We really don't have anyone to help us out with that. And I'm sorry that you're in that position. But, I'd still say try. I'd still say go for it. She runs cons as a solo act. It could be done. I've run, I know it's like to run a convention like setting, whole game convention as a solo act. You feel like you want to just, shadow jutsu yourself, shadow clone yourself, but it works. I understand the weather sleepies. I appreciate it. And as you can see, it's lighting up as the weather gets closer. It's just, I am very susceptible to changes in barometric pressure. I can honestly say my stuff is all original. I don't do patterns and mostly recycled. Do it. Seriously, just put it out there. And if you don't, you either say, set up a tent, put your stuff, fold it over, and say, I'll back in 5 minutes. You're going to the bathroom or taking a lunch or whatever. Or only do it for part of the day and then shut down and enjoy the rest of the festival. You can do that too. But you could. See, Cindy Cap agrees with. She's like, you can make it if you try. Just the two of you. She and you. Anyway, so yeah, I am ecstatic to see how well that's going. Now, we've caught up with the comments, which makes me feel like Brian K. Morris, except, I'm not skipping them. Love you, Brian. Love you, Cookie, too. Anyway, I just dropped the knife. Well, training knife guys, I don't play with live steel. I don't play with it. I take it deadly seriously. But trainers all juggle. Well, you know what I mean. Why am I excited? Why am I excited? Well, like I said, I've got some stuff. And I'm going to be busy. I've got a new game design commissioned for something that I'm really excited to be a part of. And it's profitable for me. So it's that place where I'm doing something that I'm going to spend most of tomorrow right where I am, actually, with some good music going, some snacks, some gum, tick, doing what I do, which is awesome. But something else has been going on. I want to talk about somebody. Y'all know Doug Marcaida. Doug Marcaida is a world-famous martial artist, master of all things that hold an edge. He does the cutting tests on a little show called Forged in Fire. Well, Mr. Marcaida injured himself, and it's very tragic. He Yeah, dropping knives leads to interesting scars. Source, my foot. Yeah. Well, he was doing something and he no no caffeine or I'm coming for your Johnny, I haven't had caffeine in several weeks, maybe I think I'm in a couple months now because caffeine contradicts with the meds that make me not feel like my fingers are being slashed apart. So I do everything I do without caffeination, folks. I'm a beast. But anyway, uh, Doug put out a really great. He. Okay, let me remember. He does a coffee talk show in the morning. You can get on his Facebook, look up Doug Marcaida, and he does a live coffee shop. Well, during the filming of season 18, I believe it is, of Fortune and Fire, he cut his hand severely. And he's having to go through recuperation and recovery. One hand is in a big mitt. And he's talking about finding out what you can do and what you can't do. He's talking about things like sometimes injury slows us down so that we can gain perspective. This is all going to be familiar material. This material will be repeated without, um, throughout the course and has been. I'm very, very interested to hear it because for me, it's very comforting to know I'm not talking, to be reassured that what I believe makes sense from somebody who's much more professional, much higher echelon in just about every aspect than I'll probably ever be. The highest respect for Doug Marcaida. He's very much the real deal. Yes, and it's interesting. He says Keel, and Doug Marcaida explained the reason he says it that way isn't just an speech impediment; it's an abbreviation for keep everyone alive, and that the AL. It's a very military style approach um, to abbreviations, to acronyms. Keep everything alive. Keel. But keep everyone keep everyone alive. I can say it right. Really I can. What that means is, this is an edged item. This is, for me, this is a tool. I don't think of this as a weapon, but was the first thing I grabbed, so we have it. If you are using an edged weapon, you are using it in defense of your people. You're using it to defend yourself, to defend your family, to defend your role in the family. So it's about I defend myself if things go wrong now, not because I count myself as personally that important. I really don't. That's part of the mental side effect of having to deal with a lot of physical trauma and a lot of mental trauma. I have a very warped sense of my own self-esteem, and I'm totally aware of that. But I have a role because I'm Xander's father. He needs his father, so I can't accept things that maybe I would tolerate otherwise. The other thing is Doug did something today, and it was delightful in that he took his mid hand. He's sitting here. He's licking his hand. He's got his arm wrapped up in this big bandage as it is. I mean, it's this huge black padded bandage. And he's licking. What are you doing? And he fans it out, and he has little knife blades sticking out of the bandages like this. He goes, meow. And it just blew my mind. It was hilarious and witty and self-defecating. That's not quite right, is it? Anyway, but yes, and yeah, there is a whole gaggle of things on caffeine, but I'm gonna get to that. Monday morning coffee with Mercaida is a great show. It's one of the things I actually watch on Facebook. Absolutely, I recommend it as for both the martial I could speak the martial expression and for the philosophy, because Doug Mercader, though he isn't talked about, is very much a philosopher, and it's a very practical, tested philosophy as someone who is both of faith and a veteran who has experienced the necessities of warfare in a very up close, primal way, to the point of instructing them to others. So I think what Doug Markita talks about, and I tend to say Doug, not out of disrespect, but my speech impediment does require me to kind of work around the word Markita and not slur it too bad, because it would be very easy for me to mispronounce that. But it's fascinating, so I really recommend that. And he did that. I actually did fan art, so if you go to my art page, you will see the very hasty sketch. And then I sent it to him on Facebook. I don't know if he'll reply. He doesn't have to. I just hope he has enjoyment in it. But so that happened. And if someone like Doug Markita has to explore, guys, and this is good for you to keep in mind, Foxy, too, the process of recovery from a limitation, arguably one of the greatest knife fighters in modern history, very much one of the greatest alive. What we should not feel any shame. We should not feel any shame for the reality that sometimes we screw up and we hurt ourselves, nor the reality that limitation and injury are going to slow us down, and sometimes that is an opportunity to reevaluate our thinking, reevaluate our training, revisit the basics, and build back up. And I will always point people, if you want to be better at the advanced stuff, you want to be better. Mastery is the pursuit of perfection of the basics and a complete understanding of the basics. Mastery is not a destination, it is a path. So I think there's a lot of that, and I want to talk about some of the. We'll go through the comments that I missed while I was on a bit of a tirade, and then we'll go into the next stuff. But I hope that's interesting to you. So Johnny Cage said, "No caffeine, or I'm coming for you." Johnny, I no caffeine. I'm going to behave. A few years back, we had a small gathering in the same garden for a local author who was releasing a book. I got to help my Sifu and several local human guides from upstate. That is absolutely wonderful. I tried to go no caffeine a few years ago. It did not go well for me. Things happened when I went no caffeine. And before I go farther into it, obviously I had the physical resurgence of it conflicting with my meds. But when I left caffeine, I had I went through withdrawal because I abused caffeine a lot for a long time, because a few years ago now, I worked a job where I worked truly abusive, dangerous hours. We're talking 120-hour weeks, shifts swinging 18, 20-hour shifts with a 4-hour turnaround, nightmare stuff. All while you're doing literal life and death, taking care of special needs folks. It was both the most rewarding and most dangerous and most complex job I've ever worked. And had they treated me better and not hit me with that, I'd probably still be working in that field today. And then I think about it, because I take care of my son, I am still working in that field. It's just at home, not there. But I had a total breakdown of my ability to concentrate. It was very difficult for me to hold on to an idea or a sentence, as some of my videos are embarrassingly apparent. I couldn't create stuff. I couldn't draw. And even though I had just started to get my hands back where I could physically do things, my mind just wouldn't. So I talked to the doctor. They're like, well, yeah, I thought you knew you had ADD. No, I'm 40. I don't know, well, 41, but nobody told me. So I had to get on the meds. And it has been a very, of late, interesting journey because I lost the functionality of my mind. I couldn't do what I do. And getting it back it's piecing together differently than it did before. So I'm a little more organized now. Not much, but I can process it without it just being unthinkable. I still have to do a lot of stuff, and I'm not good at it because I haven't had the practice in a long time, but the capacity's there. So as wonderful as caffeine was, and I miss it, and I miss coffee so much. Coffee was a wonderful thing. The juice isn't worth the squeeze for me. So I do understand the fight. Let's see. Other than what's in chocolate, I don't do caffeine. Yeah, occasionally there's some in some chocolate. There's a little bit natural, but you're talking to a guy who would drink 2-liter bottles of Mountain Dew to keep going, and then have other caffeinated things. Yes, caffeine is evil. I'm on what, 24 years? Good for you. Needless to say, that blade will cut. I think I'm 17 years without no caffeine. Morning. Okay, we're back to the morning show with Markita. Let's see. Did I lose anything? I'm double checking. Also, don't forget to hit the. Thank you. I always tell people to do this. Please hit the like. Please share this everywhere that you think it might be of interest. And please, if you like what I'm doing, subscribe. Get in the comments. Ask us questions. It's all very valued. I don't do soda with it, and I very rarely will have lemonade. No caffeinated beverages. I do a lot of the Mio squeezes that don't have caffeine in them. And just a whole lot of water now is part of what I'm doing. Let's see. If I had the opportunity to meet anyone from Forged and Fire, I would choose Doug or Dave Baker. Great choices. Well, I've dabbled in very low-level smithing in my time. And again, that's on I don't know if my hands will ever allow me to do it again. I would like to, it would be an honor to meet with Doug, and maybe the idea of, I'm not a Klee guy. I'm not my stick fighting stuff. It's a whole different tradition. I would love to be able just to sit in on the conversation of how he fights and listen to it, and maybe work with some things. It would be amazing. But yeah, Doug Markita is one of the few celebrities I feel really intimidated by, not because he's in any way, shape, or form an excessively aggressive person, although he's functionally, like many combat veterans of his background, a very deadly person. I have no problem with that. That doesn't intimidate me because that's my normal. But the idea of not having a lot to bring to the discussion from my end is very humbling. So we'll see. Let's see. Okay. And no more heat for a while. Oh, okay. You guys are having heat problems. We've cracked 70 a little while ago. We had one day that was 80, and then it dropped back to 30. And we are going between 60 and 30, low 60s, high 30s. Ping, 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 ping. That's what's messing me up, Oh, no shame. I mostly amuse myself. Okay. Not going there. I'm being good. See? I'm being good. I'm being the Saint Nita Lanning believes I can be. Anita's my volunteer boss over at Raging 2, the network where I do Nerd Bacon with Luke Stone on Thursday mornings. Go follow Raging 2 and tell if you don't follow Raging 2. It's really neat conversation, really spicy on most shows, but it's neat. Sounds like teaching. Yes. Decaf, the acidity of the coffee isn't quite right for me. So I'm dabbling back into some of the teas, and yeah, the caffeine still is there in decaf, so I don't really mess with it. Decaf is not caffeine free. It still gives me the jitters, and I can fully understand that. I was like that too. I was drinking Mountain Dew like water. It was nasty. I went through literal withdrawal. Yes, I went through heavy withdrawal through years of excessive Mountain Dew and other caffeinated beverages. I mean, I would literally have 2 to 3 pots of coffee a day as mainline and then drink caffeinated beverages and go to sleep after that. One of the things that depresses me about the falling out with my seafood is I miss teaching. I still get to teach Foxy and Kitty, but having new students every semester was amazing. Well, thesis, if you build it, they will come. If you look for a way to build a school and you research the sides you're going to have to do, people will come, especially if you're inexpensive. It might take a while, but if you really want to get into teaching again, get into teaching again. Look for a new trainer, and like I tell people, if you can't find the person you need to do something, you end up become that person. You know, if you don't have an Uncle Iro, you look around, guess you get to be the Uncle Iro of the area. If you have an Uncle Iro, you listen to him till you can become another Uncle Iro. Everybody wins with more Iros. I kind of hurt mechanically my throat with something scratchy, so that's on top of everything else. Okay. Getting a picture of him would have to go on your wall of awesome. Yes, it would definitely go on my wall of awesome. And when I get in the next month, I'm cleaning out my whole house. We're setting everything up for guild practices, and I want my study fully guest supported. I want to redo some things so I can set up a second camera to make my art channel easier. And there will be room on my wall of awesome when I move things to other places. So yes, it would be true. True, Cindy. Okay. Oh, no heat troubles. I had a heat pad on on chest toasting. Oh, lordy. Lordy. Okay, yeah, let's not overcook anything. There's truly a lovely tea from Kroger stores. It's called like Forest Floor or something, but it is so good. Well, if you figure out what it's actually called, you know how to get a hold of me. I love tea stuff. Mandy got this spicy Madagascar Bengal spice or something. It was really neat. It was a little more cinnamon than I was expecting. I might get some like vanilla simple syrup or sugar-free version, like I had for my coffees, and doctor it. But I enjoyed teaching even at the end when I walked away from it. I got to where I hated being a teacher in schools. Yes, that is the great travesty of our nation right now. And boy, did you see that soapbox proper. We have treated teachers horribly. We have not supported them. We have overtaxed them. I wanted to be a teacher, and they changed the standards so that they wanted you to have a degree in teaching, not in what you were teaching. So I was completely misled by like my advisor in high school and the advisor on campus when I was setting up my degree originally. Not my last one, because I was Dr. Janusz Dusinkiewicz, and there are a few people on this earth I respect more than that man. But yes, we have treated the profession of instructor, of teacher, shamefully, and they're leaving in droves, and I don't blame them. I went for it. My brother went for it. I would love to go back to being a librarian, which felt like being a teacher without the paperwork. It's a wonderful option. But yes, I understand. The college we taught at has dropped both Kung Fu and Tai Chi classes from their curriculum, He's still teaching in the area, so I still have trouble feeling like I'm competing with him. A lot of that goes down to how you feel about why you left. You may have told me and my memory issues kicked in, but if this is a complex social issue, so a lot of it depends on why you left. If it involves the quality of instruction, you have an obligation to teach it as an alternative. I went through that with my own first instructor, where I realized some things were going on that I found morally abhorrent and stylistically wrong. So I had no choice really other than to do my best to offset the damage being done. Now, I don't know if that's the case with you and your Sifu, but look around. I really believe, regardless of whatever your faith is, that if you look for a way to serve with the skill set you have and you're sincere about it, opportunities will appear. Ooh. Oh, okay, don't move that way. Check limitation found. Careful there. Yes, please don't hurt yourself in a bad way. Plus, there's that imposter syndrome telling me I'm not good enough to teach anyone, let alone strangers. Well, you got some options there. Okay, Thesis. And sometimes this is real Nick coming out. I don't know if your martial arts background was such to have an award system that you could fall back on. E.g., I'm this belt, that belt. It's much rarer to find in Chinese systems. Get certified. Look up places to get certified. Look up the means to get certified if you don't think you're good enough. And if you know what you're doing, talk to a library, talk to a local, and offer it. I know this stuff. I want to pass it on free. That's a great way. Look for study groups. I have no doubt you can teach. I'm trying to figure out if you may teach, if you can allow yourself to teach, and if your area and situation will allow it. And if not, you just find a way to change it. If it is something you are passionate about, if you have the calling to instruct, you have to instruct. There's no choice in it because it's what you are. When I say I'm a sword master, it's not. It's the closest term I found for what I am. And it's who I am. It's what I am. It's not a tacked on title. It's a label of explanation. I teach people basics. I don't go around talking, I'm not going to teach you how to strip fence. I don't play by those conventions. But I can teach you how to sword fight. And I can help you find styles that you can approach people who are more specialized in that style. Figure out what your niche is and then go for it. But I'm going to tell you, imposter syndrome is a symptom, not a reason. You cannot let imposter syndrome dictate your activities. You're better than that. And as I've said it, as Brian said it, as a lot of people who know, only the people who get imposter syndrome, the only people who can get imposter syndrome are the people doing something. There will always be people right there, right, saying, you don't know how to do that. You can't. It's like, you can't do it. And you may not be able to do it, and you might not be able to do it, but don't tell me I can't do it till after I've done it, all right? Back on up. I've been fighting that the whole time. And do it. I mean, like, I'll get the Shia LaBeouf. I'll find my actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf, which is an action figure hidden somewhere in my room in my living room that I move around for the guests to try to figure out where actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf is. You do it, yeah. But seriously, if you have the talent, when you have a gift, when you have a talent, you have an obligation to use that to do good. I believe it. Wholeheartedly, philosophically, religiously, and spiritually. I believe if you have a talent, it has been given to you for a reason, and it is your obligation as a sentient being to use that to help others. Despite the fact that is scary as all get out. I understand. But you have to, because right now you're telling me, well, I want to go vend at this fair, but imposter syndrome. Like, don't let imposter syndrome. You're a bad mofo. Don't let imposter syndrome stop you from having a booth at the fair. Don't let imposter syndrome stop you from going, teaching people. Because if you're feeling the need to teach, if you're really feeling that ache, like, I need to be doing this, there's someone karmically in your atmosphere, in your circle, somewhere in your region, your area of influence that needs you as an instructor. When the student is ready, the master shall appear. How do you think that feels on the master's end? Your sword master sense starts tingling. I really should talk to that person. It's a hard thing to explain. You can do it. And I hold you to that. I hold you to that because you're a man of honor and a man of conviction. And if you believe that you can teach something that will help somebody live a better life, do it. That is the enemy, whatever you want to call them, telling you can't. That is negativity and weakness and corrosion and everything that's wrong in the world saying, no. Be afraid. Be afraid. Don't you let your light out from under that bushel basket. Hide that. So absolutely, abso-fraggin-lutely, go out there, vend your stuff, and when you're vending it, talk to the people in your area and say, hey, yeah, I used to teach. I'm looking to see if there's an interest. If there's an interest, sign your name and email and see what happens. Because guess what? If no one's interested, you can go, okay, no one's interested right now. And then decide what to do. But if there's interest, then you get to act. So do it. I'm a hard guy because I will give comfort where comfort is needed, but I'll just as likely also give a swift kick in the derriere if I think that's required too. Even if I need a stepladder to reach tall people like yours derriere. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Be careful. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Let's go back. Plus, there's that imposter syndrome. Look, I think you're good enough. Cindy thinks you're good enough. You respect Foxy's opinion, right? Foxy's not dumb. She's saying you're good enough. In the words of Kamina, if you don't believe in yourself, then don't. Believe in the me that believes in you. Stand up and do it. Do it. You can do it. And I'll be here to see your victory. And I want to be someday see that you're doing great. Maybe you'll start your own YouTube channel talking about it too. I'll be here like, yeah. And I'll put my hat back on and walk away because that's my job. My job is to nudge people towards greatness. You don't have to take the offer. But I got to go. The road's right there. I don't have to save people. There's a whole bunch of medical systems and Jesus Christ and a whole bunch of spiritual systems out there. I just got to say, hey, there's a cliff there. In your case, sometimes you can do this. You just have to make a leap of faith. Make the jump, man. The older folks you taught loved your teaching. Then teach it. It's up to you to either overcome the imposter syndrome or give into it. Be bold and go for it. Yes, you hear Cindy? Do you hear Cindy Kepp? That's CKOEPP.com, writing on the edge. Right there. Brought to you by Brian K. Morris, who's the reason I know this woman. Look up risingtide.pub. Tell him Nick sent you. But yes, Thesis. Yes. The older ladies loved his teaching style because it was so much more gentle. We need gentle martial arts teachers. We need to break the status Cobra Kai craziness of sweep the leg, no mercy, roid rage. That doesn't help the battles that we talk about. The battles that are talked here. Because it's much internal as external. The battle with fear, the battle with weakness, with injury, with limitation. It is the battle to save our very souls from the pits of despair. I take this stuff deadly serious. And folks, you should too, because it's important. It is important for you, yes, you sitting there, to rise above what you are, to become what you could be. And Thesis, my friend, my brother, member of the Sword Family Digital Guild member, Patreon supporter, wonderful guy. You can do it, so do it. Because if she's talking about how the older folks loved your teaching, you already did it. You've already done it. It's not new. That means you are being lied to by the enemy in your head. Foxy, he's a teacher like you. Nick, I'm a healer. Then do it. See, Foxy knows. Be careful with that healing. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. Be careful, Foxy. Woo! I'm spicy today. That's right, chat. I love you, and I will talk to you, and I will build you up. But I will also call you out and be like, be careful, y'all. Or do it. Get froggy. Come on. The one who says it cannot be done should not be interrupting those doing it. Hallelujah! Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Cindy Kep is right on the ball. Whew! I'm feeling a little fire and brimstone in me. Don't mind me. Brother Loves Travel and Salvation shows of Sharpened Swords is here to stay. People, I say, think outside the box. My mind is more like, what box? Hey, if you are blessed with open things, you have to build your own structures. Do it. You've got it. One of the things that amazed people when I was at college is I could watch someone practicing a form and tell them what was wrong, even if I'd never learned the form before. That's because you understand fluidity. You understand motion, the steps between the frames in a fencing manual. That is a gift. It is a talent, and you need to use it. On one side, because you need to use it. On the other side, and I'm going to tell you this, if you have a gift and you're not using it, it will be taken away to prove a point. I've seen it happen. It's not kind, but it is what it is. If you can help folks, real easy. You got a library. Go down to the librarian who handles adult programs and say, hi, I want to try to teach basic Tai Chi. I'm saying this because there's no combat normally in Tai Chi. I've been in some interesting groups. Start simple. Start small. Find somewhere you can teach the basics that will be free. Because it's not about making money with this. It's about doing good. Later, you may be in a position to make money with it. But it's more important to be both skilled and practiced on one hand and doing good with it than anything like monetization. Use that and then just make, because that gives you the opportunity. And I'll talk to you guys about something in just a second down that road. Wow, he didn't leave you much of a choice now, did he, Thesis? Nope, friends. When it comes down to lines such as this, Brother Talker, rises up. And I get real clerical, real paladin-like. And I believe, and I do, I believe in the greatness of man. And I mean that human. That's all y'all. I don't care what your gender or orientation or what body parts you have. If you are a sentient and you're listening to this, if someone in space is listening to this, thousands of years from now because it got beamed out somehow. I still believe in them because I can do that. I could be irrationally positive with people, could be irrationally negative. And I'm going to say, folks, if you have a talent, Johnny, this guy right here in the comment, is a amazing artist. If he were to stop drawing and just be like, yeah, I'm not doing it anymore, it would be a crime against nature, against his nature. And he's getting better every time. The more he does it, the better he gets. Because it's an art. That's how they work. The more he puts of his soul into it, the better it gets. Do it. And yeah, I'm going to keep coming. Bah, Nick, if my short butt can kick his butt, I'm sure you can, LOL. I usually have about one kick in me. My legs, they barely hold me up most days, but I usually have about one kick in me. Few girls were learning Wing Chun, Sim Lee Tao, and I'm sure Su Lim Tao. I probably butchered that, but I did my best. I was able to see what they were doing wrong. I've never learned any Wing Chun forms. Wing Chun's groovy. I like Wing Chun. It's not one of mine, but I've played patty cake against it enough that I picked some up. Sword Sage, back in the day, before he fell in love with Bagua, was all about Wing Chun. And I will say this, I long for the days of his old Wing Chun style because it was beautiful to me. It was efficient and it was deadly. I'm just skip. Well, let's see. Then I will kick his butt for you. My legs, while somewhat unsteady, are still powerhouses. Sorry, Foxy. Sorry, Thesis. I've just sicked your wife on you. I'm that guy. Do you see any regret? There is no regret. There is no fear. There is only ominous positivity. I will allow nothing else. John Cage, if I were to stop, I would wither and die. I get it. I'm an artist too, nowhere near Johnny's caliber, and I lost a lot of it when my hands went to heck, and I still had to sketch. I still had to try. Because if you stop creating, it's like a shark. You stop breathing, you stop living, you stop being. So I fully get that. Joe Bachman, don't mind the guy sneaking into the back of the room here. Joe, don't you worry. Brother Love has been up. My eyes aren't black as coal, but boy, was I rolling. Fireballing my way through. And I'm glad to see you in here, Joe. We're running a little late, but I'm in a good mood, and this needs to be said. So I'm going to keep rolling a bit because we need to talk about this sort of thing. And what I was talking about, the folks who are coming in late, because we've also got some person coming in. Hey, some person. Oh, everybody's going on Wing Chun tonight. If you're possessing of a talent, you have an obligation to use it. That's why you have the talent. It's called a gift. It would be rude to the universe to not apply the gifts given. I absolutely believe in that. You may not know how. I didn't know how. Shoot, for the last few years, I've been on a physical slide, barely able to keep on. But so I started doing these live streams because it was the only way I thought I could do any good for my students. And honestly, very few of my local students make these streams because of their schedules. But I helped a bunch of other people. Let the universe use what you have to do good for other people, and then it will come back to you. That's how humanity's supposed to be, but we're all too busy shanking each other and being dicks. Be kind, be honest, and be kind and honest to yourself and what you're about, and just do it. Absolutely. Hi, Joe. Bagua is my bread and butter now. Bagua sexy. Don't get me wrong. Bagua is sexy. I just miss the purity of his old style. Threaten me with a good time. That's the goal. Somebody's gonna wing chung tonight. Bread and butter. She likes bread and butter. Anyway, everybody was kung fu fighting. Things I can do as long as it's not 30 seconds. Yeah. Hot, fresh bread, melty butter. Need to make some bread. Those kicks were fast as lightning. And you see, I'm such a bad singer anytime I do. Doesn't hurt anything. Why? Because there's nobody's gonna be like, yeah, he's profiting. No worries there. Hello, Nick. It's good to see you. Once upon a time, hot buttered bread was my favorite snack. Cindy, I lament on your behalf. I think, and I thank God that I don't have your situation of rolling food allergies. And please don't take that poorly. I have the highest respect for how well and maturely you handle your challenges. And it does give me a section of gratitude that I don't have those particular challenges. But it is wonderful. My okay, wait a second. My gift of sarcasm is given to the universe on an hourly basis. My other gifts come and go as time allows. Bless you, Joe Bachman, keeper of the former Cybocan. Yes, you are a wonder, and you don't even admit. Joe is first off one of the kindest human beings ever to walk the face of the earth, and you don't know it. You wouldn't believe it, especially coming from a grumpy old Hawaiian shirt-clad lunatic like me. But Joe is one of those great people, and he is a heck of a sword fighter. He also won't admit that too. Now, I have made no qualms that his wife Trelena is both the greatest student I've ever had the privilege of training, and probably my favorite sword fighter on this planet. But Joe is always fun. And he's one of those people who is one of the sharpest people in the room, but he'll never say he is. But yeah, it's great. And he's an amazing wood burner. He's a pyrographer. Speech impediment got hold of the middle of that word, but But yes, no, don't ever sell yourself sword. I'm sorry. Is there any kind of bread you can have? Sadly not. It is a tragedy. Give me some ideas of what you can have. I'll try to. Okay, before this starts up, Cindy has a very specialized medical condition. This is one you really want to take the DMs because you're going to be there a while, and that's not a shot at Cindy. It's just going to make your life a lot easier, Foxy. As soon as Thesis says, as soon as I talk to my local post office, you may be getting a gift soon. Ooh. I know I'm trying to track down a really nice wax pourer too, because I want to do some more stuff with this really lovely thing. It never leaves right here. I'm thankful and humbled that you're thinking of me. Yep, there it is. Just feel the ooh. I poured a little bit more of my heart and soul into this particular video than maybe I intended when I sat down. But thank you. That's because I believe in you guys. I believe in your capacity toward greatness. And if I can have, when people ask me what I want out of life, the vast majority of the time, I just want to be permitted to be enough of a footstool. Really, guys, where I can interlace my fingers and go, here, let me help, and see people get up to the next level and fly. That's what I want to see. I live in a world where the vast majority of my skill sets, I'm the vast majority of skill sets I would love to be obsolete. I would love to never have anyone hurt enough to need some of the kind of conversations I've had with them. I would love for no one to ever be injured or debilitated and have to work around limitations. That's kind of my specialty. getting very real for a minute. I am honestly more than a little intimidated by the concept of heaven because I've worked so much of what I do and define myself as being useful to help people. And if heaven is what it's supposed to be, the vast majority of what I do would be obsolete. So yeah. That being said, don't send it with the name I put in the last gift. yeah. Please don't use any of my assorted aliases, nicknames, types. If you send me something, send it by my normal name. Yeah, I'm still the talk of the post office for that one, Joe. Foxy, have a nice night. Have a nice night. Have a nice night, Nick. And I will think about it, Cindy. I know some circumstances you could replace yeast with baking powder in interesting sciences. I've tried all kinds of wild stuff, Foxy. Unfortunately, I haven't found a thing that works yet. Well, I wish you both get a hold of Trelane and have yourself a little cabal. You three can stir stuff into a pot and mutter into it, and yell Macbeth, Macbeth. But it is almost 1/4 past the hour of my 1 hour program, so as you can see, I'm starting to hit that wall where I'm fading a bit. I poured heart and soul, sweat pours off my body like the music that I play. So I'll be calling it. And thank you guys for another amazing week. All right. If you like what I do and you want to support me and my efforts to help people like these fine folks wherever the stroll is, without losing their stuff, we still have to have a roundtable with ladies of martial arts. I would love to be part of that, even if it's just answering questions. Well, you know what? We need to set up to just have you get on the show and have a talk. I am totally fine with having guests. I have this little button down here that says invite. I'll send you a link. You approve yourself through StreamYard. Hop on and we'll do this. But thank you. If you want to support what I do, right on Patreon, the scroll, patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. $1 a month will do wonders. That page is getting updated as soon as I get through my contract work, which seems to be endless right now, and that is awesome. It's also made possible basically by all the goodies I talked about at the beginning. I've got enough books, and this isn't even half my category, but we'll focus on the. Well, that's the big stumpy robots. Well, this is the fencing show, so we'll focus on the simple sword and the fighting axe, both available through Amazon at a reasonably low price. Until I see you guys next week, guys, seriously, start doing your drills. I have some new stuff talking about drills and more advanced stuff in the works. And keep your guard up. Things are scary right now. The news is scary. We've had a lot of weird local events. Prices have gone through the roof on a lot of things. So be aware. When I say keep your guard up, I don't just mean on the list field, folks. Most importantly, be kind to yourself. These are hard times. And be kind to each other. Because we need that. And folks, as always, thank you. And continue to support your local swordmaster.